This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly reminder, Mary Jane edibles are not a substitute for actually paying your Lyft driver. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, you filthy fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride.
And howdy, everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Michelle.
Hello.
And Scolipendra.
Hello there.
So it's been a few weeks. Normally I wanted to have it a bi-weekly thing, but ended up taking it an extra week and then an extra day from this week, just because... basically. Although last week is...
flop.
Yeah. Although last week I finally got my first COVID shot. All they have here is, I think, Moderna, so that's what I've got. So yay. So I got the shot, and for like the next day and a half, my upper arm was sore. You know, as though I had been using it to just do all of the things, because that's always fun. We also got some good news. So one of which I'm gonna go a little bit in depth in with my segment for this week. So, but to give a summation of it, JoJo Part 6 finally being animated. Fuck yeah. There's also, oh god, so much has been going on these past few weeks, and we missed out on so much. Holy fuck. People are still horrible. Cops are still bastards. Because we've had another officer-involved shooting, which really is just a case of cop saying, "Hey, I shot a guy, and oh, I thought it was a taser." Bitch, you knew full well it wasn't a taser. Although I will say, all cops being bastards is definitely equal opportunity, because the murderer in this one was a woman.
Yep.
So yeah.
And according to the thing I recently saw, she was training a rookie, so she was apparently qualified enough to be out with a rookie and getting them up to speed, but still couldn't tell the difference between two different types of handle.
Yeah.
And presumably trigger pressure. Because I'm assuming that I've never shot either a gun or a taser. I've shot a BB once.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I'm assuming there'd be some kind of force pressure difference. Makes sense.
I think there is, for sure. But just, wow. So you have, no matter which way you slice it, it's really bad. Because on the one hand, why are you in such a position of power if you don't know the difference between your weapons? Or you're a lying sack of racist shit who just wanted to kill a black person for, I think in this case, it came down to stopping them because of an air freshener. I think.
Out of date, had an air freshener, which apparently dangly things are not permissible in that state. And turns out he had a previous arrest, an outstanding. So, but we don't know what that was for.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, and even with all of that information, it did not need to end up with a dead man.
Nope.
Just no. And this happens way too often, disproportionately to black people. And that's the key term, because there's always some bad faith idiot out there like, oh, but it happens to all these white people more. Yeah, because there's more white people than black people, you idiot. Of course, but it also still disproportionately happens to black people.
Yep.
Even if we white fuckers outnumber the black people, that doesn't make it okay for black people to be slaughtered in the street for so much as an expired tag. Even with or without a previous record. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even if they were legitimately breaking a law, which, driving with an expired tag kind of is, that's fair.
Yeah.
But they don't need to be shot and killed for it. I mean, hell, there was like a soldier. The kind of people that people on the right in this country just love to give the metaphorical blowjobs to. He was stopped.
Harrowing.
He was stopped, and he was not tased, but pepper sprayed during a traffic stop. And it's like, you fucking assholes. And they're like, oh, why do you have a weapon? He's a soldier, you dipshit. And soldiers, from what I understand, can carry, open carry, concealed carry, or something. They can have weapons no matter what state they're in, because, you know, they're federal soldiers. That kind of supersedes that.
For those of you who may not have seen the footage and not sure what we're talking about, the dude was in uniform.
Yeah. So it was very obvious this was a soldier. And even at one point he was like, yeah, I'm a little afraid. And a white cop was like, well, yeah, you should be. Like, no, he shouldn't have to be nobody, especially, you know, it applies to everybody, but especially in people of color at this point, nobody should have to be afraid of law enforcement, okay, of the police. Nobody should have to be. That's why the whole, you know, the defund the police thing, that's why it's happening. And I would personally phrase it, defund the police as we know it. You still need somebody for, like, protection, like, you know, like if somebody steals your purse, somebody should be able to, like, stop the person or what have you. That's one thing. But a lot of these situations that we've sent the police into, they don't require the police. There have been countless people who have been killed by the police when all they needed was a hug and maybe some medicine.
Yeah.
Yep.
And trust me, medicine costs more than 69 cents per thing. Fucking hell, people.
Did you happen to catch the punchline on that lieutenant story, though?
I did not.
He was the wrong guy. They got the wrong vehicle.
Oh my fucking god. It's like, look, you know, let's say for the sake of argument that the police, as it's set up now, has to stay the way it is. Let's say for the sake of argument that it has to be. At the very least, hire competent people. Hire people that actually want to do the job. And, yeah, there might be a few cops that are in there for good reasons, sure. You know, every establishment has that. But the problem is there are too many cops who use it for power trips, especially against minorities. And that's why the system needs to be defunded and rebuilt as something else.
Yep. And to quote the meme I know that you shared around, cops aren't supposed to kill guilty people either.
Exactly. Not unless the guilty party is literally shooting at them, and even then you can try and take them peacefully. But if there is, like, a legit danger, and hey, guess what? We have video footage now. We can see what's going on. Just like that one fucker also in Minnesota who was on trial for killing, what was his name? George Floyd, I think it was?
Yeah.
You know, that guy is on trial, and we have the video evidence, and everybody else is trying to say, oh, no, he died with this. No, the dude died because his neck was stepped on for several minutes. That was the cause of death.
Both the official and the independent both agree lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you deoxygenated him until he was dead. This is on video. This is not debatable. Lock his ass up. There is no debate here. I realize defense attorneys do have to do their jobs, but still, goddamn, just know when you're licked, dude. You'll still get your pay. I hope.
At least with the I want to get his name right. Durant White. The young man.
Yeah.
He Dante White. She has quit. She actually left her job. She has been arrested, and they are treating it as a criminal investigation.
Good. And of course, every time, and we, especially one of these that get big, you see protests, which everybody's like, I say everybody. People on the right are like, oh, they're rioting again. Why are they rioting? And it's like, hey, asshole, did you? And I know, me, a white person, invoking this, but it's apt. You know, Martin Luther King. Yeah, Martin Luther King said, hey, riot is the language of the unheard. I don't necessarily agree with rioting as a concept, and I'm paraphrasing at this point, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily agree with it as a concept, but I understand it, and it's like, I ain't gonna stop it. Like, hi, maybe y'all should do something about it, you know? I'll try and keep it peaceful, but Every now and then, people have to bust out and just say, "Hey, no, 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 no," bust you in the face, metaphorically. So and the people who are like, and the people who poo-poo protesters and or rioters, for like burning down property, it's like, bitch, that property can be replaced. Most places, even residential places, have some sort of home insurance. Even if like you're renting an apartment, guess what? That landlord has insurance on that place. Kind of have to have it. So yeah, you're the person, like if this house burned down, for example. I hope not, but let's say it does. The three of us here, me and my folks, we would be displaced for a little bit, and it would suck, and we would have to rebuild or just outright move, whatever. But insurance would help pay for that, or it's supposed to, at least. Probably more likely to, because my dad is a not poor white guy. He's also the mayor, so he also has that going for him. Not everybody has the things that we have here. But my point is, insurance, by and large, would and should pay for it, especially if you're a business. Especially then. Even if you're a small business. Yeah, you would be out of work, well, you have to rebuild or whatever, and that's gonna suck. Yes. But if you're a business that was just a friendly business caught in the line of fire, you're likely going to have a community come together. And even if it's a piece of shit business, you're going to have different people come together. Somebody will come and help uplift your ass. More than likely. So
there's these great posters and stuff that were around during the Blitz. And it's basically said, like, you looking at the bombed out shops and everything, you've got signs up saying, "Yes, we are open, more so than normal."
Yeah. but yeah, so people who are like trying to say, "Oh, all this property damage happens," spare me. Property can be replaced. Even Target, one of the big mega corporations in this country, gets it. Okay? If they get it, so can you. It's because people are more important than your property. Because guess what? If it's a choice between, making sure my folks are okay and making, assuming that they can't take care of themselves, making sure they're okay and protecting my stuff here, I will make sure they're okay. And then I'll rush back and try and take care of everything else. But but the point is, human life has the priority.
Yes.
And that's how it should be. Oh, yes. and oh God, fucking Florida. Oh my fucking God. So, I think we've mentioned before that there was a bill being brought up in one of the political houses here in the state that
this fucking thing.
Yeah. So the bill itself is basically banning trans kids from playing sports, but also subjecting those same kids whose sex may be disputed to genital inspections. And apparently that has passed, at least on the Florida House. I don't know about the Florida Senate or if it's even made it to DeSantis' desk, but it's at least passed the Florida House. And I just like, what is y'all's problem? Is it just because they're just that much different? Are they that much out of line with your personal religion? Because, which actually should be an oxymoron, because all religions are personal. I mean, I even remember when I was a Christian, and it was stressed that it is a personal relationship. Key term, personal. So that means yeah, you could tell people about it, but that doesn't mean you get to shame them into it. That doesn't mean you get to tell them they're bad people for not believing in it. And that sure as hell doesn't mean you get to legislate it. So just...
I think it was Becky who said in the chat, that how do you know that people aren't just going to be malicious with it? And also...
Yeah, she and I have thought the same thing, and I think I probably brought up that point to her before, too. In that, in fact, I even made a mention of it on Facebook when I cross-posted it over there. Because, yeah, one of the things, if you suspect somebody is not the gender you think they should be, you can check their shorts, basically. cue the pedophiles and the femophiles coming on in and legally being able to get their jollies off by seeing the junk of minors.
Remind me again how the Dems and the Libs are supposed to be the pedophiles here.
It's like, and that's not to say that there aren't any, and that there aren't some on both sides. There have been, but here's the thing: the Republicans try to hide it. They try to do well. Okay, everybody tries to hide it, honestly, but the Republicans, they keep their jobs by and
the Republican
large.
sponsor bill as well. So
yeah. So it's like, yeah, no. And this gets, and this kind of leads in. Yeah, I know we haven't done our standard, like, you know, catch up icebreaker thing, but it's like there's a lot to go over this time.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that gets me into something that I watched literally right before we started doing this. So the day we're recording this, Lindsay Ellis put out a new video about all of the shit that had happened because of a tweet she made, like, what was it, last month, I think it was?
Yeah.
And it's an hour 40 minutes, so it's about 100 minutes. And before I even get into the video itself, I'm not going to do like a deep dive on the video, because, you know, my brain does not retain everything, but it retains the biggest points and the biggest takeaways. But I've seen somebody be like, oh, you don't need 100 minutes to make an apology. And if it was just for that one thing, you would be correct. But it's not. Because what she does is, you know, she gives some context. She provides, you know, somebody was like, oh, she's giving a lecture. And it's like, yeah, for maybe 30 minutes to give some, to basically set the stage a bit. Because that's what you do. Because, it's like, yeah, it's a bit long and maybe a bit tedious. Sure. Okay. But, it's important information. And then come to find out somebody, because this is the internet and she's a woman on the internet. Important distinction here, woman on the internet. Somebody went in and found like a lot of these so-called actual and quote-unquote so-called offending tweets from like the past 13 or so years being on like Twitter and internet at large. And she gives context, and she also, admits when she fucked up. One example was this article from Mara Wilson, where Mara herself mentioned that, she floated the idea of being bi at a friend of hers who was unnamed in the article, and the friend said, "Oh no, you're not," that sort of thing. And Lindsay not only admitted and said, hey, you know what, yeah, that was me, that was shitty, and yes, Mara and I are no longer friends, but that wasn't because of it, as far as I know, sort of thing. But the point of the matter is, all of these things she brought up, and the infamous rape rap was brought up too. Turns out she didn't intend for that to go live.
I missed that one entirely.
Yeah, that was
at the time.
Yeah, it's back in the old Tigwatig days. So what had happened was she had rendered it, and she just it was like between friends or what have you, which is how she intended it to be. But she forgot that her rendering, her work rendered folder also automatically uploaded to the FTP that they were using for Tigwatig at the time.
Yeah. And
the admin, I don't even know who that was at the time. It could have been Michelle. I don't know. Was like, you know what? She hasn't had anything in a while. She's got this here. Boom. Here's on the schedule. Cue everybody asking Lindsay, hey, what the fuck? And Lindsay being like, oh, fuck me. So, yeah. And she gives context behind that, too, because that was something among friends that, as I understand it, was a way to help cope, because she herself had went through very horrific things. Yeah, that happened to her too. So, yeah, and this just a lot of it comes off as like, hey, you want me to answer for all these? I'll answer for all of them. Some of them she has, some of them she hadn't. And she even admits in the video herself, it's like, yeah, I probably should have answered, not necessarily so many words. It's like, yeah, it's an issue. I kept a little too quiet about some of these. Let's bring them up. And she did it while taking shots too. So that was also a little bit of humor there. But
I'm still have my theory that she's preggo, so I do hope that was joke shots.
Probably. But even if joke shots, that is. I mean,
yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, but then again, who knows?
The only reason I'm saying that is because remember back when she had been pregnant prior to that, when everyone was speculating and she didn't say anything, and then she came up with a documentary, which I still haven't seen because I'm not sure how to get access to it.
Yeah.
So yes, she had been pregnant before, had the abortion, fine, whatever. That's entirely her choice. I support that.
Yeah.
She looks now like she did then.
Right.
Possibly a little bit more so. So that's why I think she's pregnant.
Yeah. Well, but that doesn't get brought up. In fact, that's not even part of the reason for the video.
No. And if she wants to keep it, if she is pregnant and she wants to keep it private, 100% fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
But that's my speculation based on how she's looking at the moment.
Yeah.
She looks great, but
Yeah. But yeah. So there's also space in this video for calling out especially the bad faith actors. Like the people who dig up every little thing, take it out of context and all of that. And she contextualizes stuff too. Even the stuff that's like, yeah, this is what the context was, and even for some things like, oh god, what was one of them? I know I wrote one of them in Frozen server over here. Where is it?
Sorry, I'm not looking at it at the moment.
Okay, so the first one she ended up bringing up was her take on the Harriet Tubman movie. The one that's basically Harriet Tubman, has this made-up slave owner with the story and the backstory and all of that, and is basically Harriet Tubman fan fiction. Because, yeah, her the historical Harriet Tubman, her owner was white, a white woman, rather. Of course, they were white, but it was not this Gideon dude. So historical accuracy is way out the window anyway. But she made some kind of tweet about it. It's not good in my memory at the moment. But the gist of it is, she's like, yeah, I probably should not, I shouldn't have mentioned that one. It's like, yeah. And then there's a lot of them where she's like, yeah, I that was bad of me, I shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. And I think that, and if I remember right, I think the shots were like every time she was problematic, she took a shot. She took quite a few. So it's one part, a little bit of a history lesson. One major part, her owning her shit. And context with context, because sometimes context doesn't really make much better. So, she's like, yeah, this is why I made this and blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, it's still fucked up. Boom, take shot, ring the bell. So, and a lot of it also, and I've also learned that people have used her to springboard to go attack like ContraPoints, Jenny Nicholson for things. And it's like, y'all, do you all really have grievances with them? Or are you just attacking them because they're semi-popular women on the internet? And I say semi-popular because, I've got it right here on hand. Lindsay's subscriber count is 1.13 million, which to us that's pretty damn good. But compare her to someone like, let me see. I know I've probably got somebody. Let me just pull one out of my YouTube subscription box. Well, you know what? No, not Paula Poundstone. She has more subscribers than Paula Poundstone. I went with her first because Paula Poundstone is, professional stand-up comic. But then again, you probably would know Paula Poundstone before you know Lindsay Ellis, so that might say something too.
I don't know Paula Poundstone, so I'm the exception, I guess.
Fair enough.
I don't know who she is either, so.
Okay, except for you two, people would know who she is.
But to be fair, we're a bit more on the internet than most other people.
Yeah, which is fair. But the whole point of it is, in comparison to people who have been out in the, the quote unquote mainstream, what have you. Because Paula Poundstone's been doing comedy for years. Bill Engvall is another one. Kathleen Madigan, Margaret Cho. These are all names that are bigger than Lindsay Ellis in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So when Lindsay in her video says, "I'm not a celebrity," she means it. Yeah, she's got over 1 million subs, but she's not a celebrity in the sense of a Margaret Cho or a Bill Engvall. Even Bill Engvall is not so much of a celebrity in comparison, but he is more known than Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah.
And I do want to note something, that backlash like this and the vitriol like this extended towards Lindsay, regardless of what she's done. Towards Lindsay, towards ContraPoints, towards fucking Jenny Nicholson. I've noticed that it's harsher than it is when it's a dude who does something even sort of similar than anything they may or may not have done.
Yep.
It's like I'm willing to bet if a dude had made the rape rap and put it up and intentionally put it up, he probably would not have gotten as much flack as Lindsay has over it. Probably not. Because I don't see very many dudes having their older tweets dug up a lot. I see it happen, but I don't see it nearly as often as somebody like Lindsay. So,
the only one I can think of offhand is James Gunn.
Yeah. But he's also not necessarily... He's kind of an exception to the rule. He's also way bigger. And he was also...
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just as an example, I can't think of any guys it's happened to. An example came to mind.
Okay, but yeah. The point is, regardless of where her mindset was and all of that, the vitriol was just too much. And that's one of the reasons why she said, you know what, yeet, fuck off Twitter. At least outside of like professional things, because she is contractually obligated to promote her new book on Twitter and social media, so and we do mean contractually obligated.
Yeah. So
there's all of that. Oh, Lordy B. And when there's a point where she goes out against the quote unquote Twitter mobs and all of that, and she rages against them. And I think it's really justified, honestly, because yeah, you could say something fucked up and you should be called out on it. I don't think anybody's disagreeing there. But call them out for that thing, and if you're just now discovering something horrible about them, maybe provide some context. And to people's credit, people do ask for context on certain things, but there are too many people who are just like, oh, and also, to be fair, all of us have fallen under that at one point or another. We have all jumped in on a thing without much context or what have you. We're all guilty of it. And hell, even Lindsay herself has said, yeah, I've done this myself. She ain't perfect either. And she ain't trying to come from a place of being perfect. She's bringing it up and talking about it as best as she knows how. Doing a deep dive into the stuff that makes our brains tick at the moment. Into her own personal stuff as much as she's comfortable sharing, of course. And one thing, and I think, oh god, the damn movie, the Disney one, just recent, the one that she got in trouble for. Raya, thank you. I mean, she's noted, and I can definitely see this happen because we white people do this. There's a lot of white people calling out other white people for racism when it's not really needed. I mean, it goes back. I've probably told this on the show before, but I'm gonna tell it here again because every episode could be somebody's first episode.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Hi.
And if it's your first episode, hello, welcome. We're not usually into drama like this, but this is just big thing, and I've got feelings. So years ago, over on Tumblr, there was a user who liked to use Wario, as in wow, Wario, as kind of like an avatar and thing like that. And he called out somebody for posting a picture of Peter Pan and his shadow, like cosplaying. And the Peter Pan shadow, the person was completely covered in black makeup, black paint, all that good shit. Because it's a shadow. And the dude was like, and I should also note this dude was white. Dude was calling it blackface. And I'm sitting here like, no? Hi, theater major here. I know what the fuck blackface is. That ain't it. And even even black people are like, no, that's not. And I'm listening to black people. I'm like, yeah, they're the black people who are commenting on this are saying, no, dude, I think you're in the wrong. So I was like, yeah, it's just, and that's another thing she did bring up in the video too, because, and I am kind of picking and jumping around in the video itself because not everybody's going to watch it, because not everybody has 100 minutes to waste. Not that the video itself is a waste. The video is not, but
I sometimes like putting on long videos whilst I'm doing other things, just because it's background noise. Yeah,
which is fair, but this is for those people who may not want to sit through 100 minutes, and that's okay.
Yes,
you don't have to.
No,
to use a phrase from a very unfortunate source, I did it so you don't have to. Are we ever going to escape them? Maybe not. I don't know. But
the thing is, sorry, to answer your question, some of the stuff was kind of funny and it is kind of meme worthy, and I still kind of have like the of course moments and stuff like that. So because it wasn't all terrible.
Yeah, that is true. But something good out of something bad, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere with it.
I was just gonna say, try not to be apologist, but as a collective, and Doug particularly, he did try and do a lot of good stuff for charity and bring like little charities to fore. So
yeah. I mean, people who are generally seen as bad, whether they're full bad or just partially bad or just have some major blind spots, they can do good things too. And honestly, we should not cover over that. I've probably done it before, and for that I do apologize. But if you do something good and it's genuinely good and it genuinely helps, then yeah, go for it. I will encourage this. I may question your motives behind it sometimes, but if the end result is people getting helped, okay, I'll leave you alone. Generally, but yeah, one of the other points that Lindsay made in her video is that groups are not monoliths. That goes for white people, that goes for black people, goes for Asian people. These groups are not monoliths. They're like with the blackface, the pseudo blackface thing that I mentioned just a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure that were some black people that were like, yeah, that's fucking blackface. And then there are other white people, it's diversity. Every race has their own diversity in them. Like, come on. And that is a point. Like, yeah, not every black person is like that. And not every Asian person is going to find that racist or what have you,
Yeah.
Because people are not monoliths. And sometimes we need that reminder. And I say we because sometimes I do too. So the reminder is a good thing. But yeah, it's like, I think one of my friends pointed out that there is a lot of salt in there too, and honestly, because of how people have attacked her over the years for things big and small, I can understand why. Because that's the thing that we have done, generalized we have done, is hold women to a higher standard than men. Like half the things that she's gone on about, while men may face some consequences, they're not nearly as severe. I'm not going to get rape. I'm not going to get rape and death threats for denying somebody their bisexuality. I would get my ass kicked because, yeah.
Yup.
You're outnumbered in most of your social circles.
Yeah, and I would deserve it, yes. But by the internet at large, I would be generally fine. Because, because I am a cishet white dude. Whereas everybody who is not a cishet white dude is held to higher standards. And again, we all have done it, whether we mean to or not. And that's something we all can work on.
Yep.
People make mistakes. People can learn from those mistakes. And I think Lindsay, for her part, in terms of the mistakes she's made, she has obviously gone back and reflected on the things that have been called out, that she's been called out on, things that there are a couple of things she has mentioned that she talked about before that she does link in her video description and things like that there. It's clear that she has put thought into this. It's not just some, blah, 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 she has clearly put thought into this, and that gives her a little bit more weight, at least with me. Damn, if I keep talking, I'm going to be talking about the video as long as the damn video is. But those are the big basic takeaways that I've got from it. Again, it's 100 minutes, but if you got time, I do recommend sitting down, watching it, and just listening, because from what I'm gathering, she is trying. Yeah. She's at least trying to say, hey, this is what happened here, this is what happened there. And at the very end, she's just like, yeah, you know what? I put all this out there. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to do my due diligence, but, to try and, not be racist, not do all that, because especially we white people, we do have some of that internalized from our youth because of our upbringings, especially if you're from the South. Guess what? Lindsay's from Tennessee. So yeah, and she admits as such, like, yeah, some of that is still internalized, and I got to work it out.
Yeah.
So we all have that, and it's good to acknowledge that, and say, hey, the stuff we gonna work on. I'm gonna work on this, but at the same time, I'm not gonna, She's basically like, yeah, this is all the stuff I've done. Fuck all you bad faith actors. Fuck off with you shit. Learn nuance, you motherfuckers. And then mic drop, figuratively. So, and again, that's what I've got out of it. So, so yeah, I've kind of done the bulk of it. Michelle's interjected a thing or two. Scully, do you have any thoughts on all of this?
I think you covered most of it, I guess. Though, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that, from what you've described, that video is, really good, and, it's good that she's owning up to the things she needs to own up to, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, to a lot of these people on Twitter, no apology is ever gonna be enough for them. Like, some people just, it's like you said, they hold women to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Women and LGBT people,
Yeah. Women, LGBT people, black people, Asian people.
Yep.
And yeah, we do see the black people getting held to higher standards because, hey, if they don't, they get shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not good. Not good. So, if we want to be truly equal, we need to equalize how we treat each other as well.
Yeah.
So, it's yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to kind of give a wrapped up thought, and I've gone on record on the show before and other places saying, generally speaking, I don't do cancel culture. I try to avoid the dog pile. I try to sort of step back and say, okay, so what is happening? What has actually happened? Which is why I said I probably will watch the video, just because, like I said, I'm probably not going to watch it tonight, but I'll find some time when I can take that 100 minutes and sit down, even if I'm doing some cross stitch or something, and think, oh, I'll still be taking it in, because I want to know. I don't want to immediately, and it kind of annoys me, especially. I love our friends, but they do kind of seem to jump quite quickly on this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't seen Raya yet because I'm not paying 20 quid for a movie that I'm not buying on Blu-ray.
Right.
And I've only, because some of it was that she was comparing it to Avatar, which I've recently started watching. I don't know what took me so long. I've already whipped through book 1. I've just started book 2. It is awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, do watch it. So I cannot say where she's getting the comparison of Raya and Avatar being the same sort of thing, except I guess they both involve 4 nations or like multiple nations within their maps. Okay, fine. But I made the comment and the joke when people made the same sort of things about not necessarily in the same kind of way that Lindsay was, apparently said it. That was when Coco came out. Oh, so it's like Book of Life. My comment was like, yes, that is why we only have one Christmas movie. That is why there's only one Halloween movie. That is why there's only like one East. It's like, you can have more than one movie about a different culture that isn't the Western and primarily American. Although obviously we've got a few different versions of Christmas stuff. Yes, Halloween we don't do as much, but we've got our own sort of movies that are seasonal things as well. Or pick an adaptation. How many different types of Shakespeare are there? How many different adaptations of Jane Austen novels are there? And that's direct adaptations. And you're telling me you can't tell 2 different stories based in a same culture?
Exactly.
Off with that shit.
Yeah. And even then, I don't remember if it's the director, writer, producer of the new movie, even said, you're like, okay, we weren't going for like an Avatar thing. It wasn't a direct inspiration, but hey, that's cool. Avatar's dope.
Yeah.
So it's like, it didn't influence us, but you guys see it, all right, that's cool.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean you're comparing it to a thing that is beloved by many, many, many people? Cool.
Yeah. So, the crew, saying crew because I don't know if it was director or whoever, saying, we like it. It's all right. You can compare us to that. That's cool. I think that would hold more weight than somebody saying, "Oh, you're being racist about this," and it's like, no. And for Lindsay's part in that, I think I remember saying it. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I know I said others. It's like, in the grand scheme of things and all of the things to dogpile on her for, this is basically nothing.
Yeah.
It's just it did seem for all the world like people wanting something to pounce on Lindsay for. It's like, no. It's just
Which is why I try to avoid that kind of stuff, because it's like, really, guys, come on.
Yeah, and it's understandable, very understandable. But I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and take our break, and we got another bit. Yeah, we got another bit that that Scully and I found. I think it was a couple of days ago. Turns out this person was a troll, but oh boy, do we both still have thoughts on it, or?
Oh, I have thoughts on it.
Okay, so when we come back, we will have our thoughts on this particular thread. So stick around. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious while we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Hey y'all, want to watch some anime? I haven't seen this one.
Oh, good idea. I've been meaning to watch this one.
Hey, can we watch this one? I was distracted.
Ignoring how easily Gomer is distracted by booty, how about this one?
Alright. How about this? Let's just pick one and watch one episode a week. We can even talk about it on a podcast. It's random, it's anime. What should we call it?
Randome. Check out Randome. Recorded every week at twitchtv.com/rosenthorn.
TwitchTV.
And available. Oh, good lord.
This is all staying in.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this little segment I like to do on the show, where sometimes things will fall into place in the regular show, but sometimes they won't. And considering I'm pre-recording them now, since we were doing them live on Twitch, we may have talked about this on the show. By this point, we may not. But just in case we haven't, if you're a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, then you realized, as of this recording, it has been only a couple of days that Stone Ocean, Part 6 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has finally been confirmed for an anime adaptation, which stars Jolene Cujo, who is Becky's favorite JoJo. She's my second favorite. My favorite JoJo is Joseph. But they're both really good characters, and the story it has a few bumps along the way, but otherwise it's really awesome. I think people are going to love it, and by the end of it, they're going to cry. That's all I'm gonna say. I will not spoil it intentionally here in this file. But the manga itself ended back in like 2001, 2003, something like that. So it's nearly 20 years old at this point. This particular story is. So yeah, it's easily findable and looked upable and everything. So I am looking forward to seeing how they mix things up and change things up a little bit. Because with adaptations, there's always going to be some changes. Always will be. Even, just like, I can even tell you this, like Phantom Blood, Part 1. We talked about it on Randome. There was a part where, Dio ends up killing Jonathan's dog by putting him in an incinerator. The anime, you just see the incinerator. You hear maybe the little, and the horrific implications thereof. And then you see the grave. In the manga, you see the dog jump out of the incinerator burning to death. I think you can understand why it's not in the anime adaptation. So I'm curious to see what they'll change up, and I want to see how well they do like the different voices. Like I want to hear Poochie's voice, because that's he is like one of the biggest, baddest villains in the entire franchise, and you'll see why when you get through the story. But more importantly, when they inevitably bring it over here in English, if they do not have Kira Buckland, who is a well-known voice actress and big fangirl of Jolene Cujo herself, if she's not voicing Jolene like her Japanese counterpart, and I wasn't trying to barter for words or anything. The Seiyu's first name is AI. I forget her last name, unfortunately. I am so sorry, but similar interests. Both JoJo fans, both really enjoy Jolene. So, in fact, Jolene, I believe, is Kira Buckland's favorite JoJo. So it would be very fitting if Kira Buckland was voicing Jolene. But yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. We don't know when it's going to start airing yet. We don't know, all the other voice actors yet. We just know it's coming. We've got a Jolene, and we've got to look for Jolene. And David Production does not disappoint on that. They made her look damn good. Damn good. So, but it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be fun how they get around all of the licensing issues too, because there's a stand literally named Marilyn Manson. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's it for this particular little segment. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. And I'm gonna leave off on this because, of course, as soon as I heard it, I had to put it in my soundboard.
Yare, yare da wa.
See y'all next time. And we are back from our break. And yeah, I finally got it set up to where I can actually listen while it's doing the thing without it getting into the big recording itself. Yeah.
Spoilers!
But nah. Thankfully not so much in the spoilers, but well, except for like one stand name. Oh wow.
No, the other spoiler.
Which other spoiler?
The dog.
Oh, it's from part 1. The anime adaptation came out in 2012. The manga itself was in 87.
Not everyone's watched it.
Fair, but we've also covered it in Random A,
which I don't listen to.
Also fair. It's also early enough. It's like anime wise, it's like in the first 2 episodes. So
you make me sad, okay?
I think everybody was sad after that part. Oh yeah, it makes sense. Speaking of things that makes us sad in some instances, mad in others. So a couple of days ago, let me make sure I can still pull up the thread. I can, because they have not pulled this thread down. There is an account called Washire RP Tips. With the at handle being Washire RP Advice on Twitter. And both Scully and I independently came across this dude, who I want to note here and now that this dude is definitely one of those 4chan trolls who has way too much straw in their hands. But as with a lot of things like this, you can get some good conversation out of it. Despite the fact that they're making a lot of shit in bad faith. We do realize this, and I do want to have it noted that we know this going in, but again, some good conversation points can come out of something like this, because I want to try and make something good out of something bad. So obviously, this is a bad faith actor. We're gonna go with it. Now to start off on this particular thread, there are some decent sparks of wisdom, like always get out there if you want to roleplay. Okay, put yourself out there. All right, fine. Make your tags E to C to C. Sure. Okay. Don't lewd minors. Okay, that's also fine. And then the next one up, and that's the one that apparently got Scully's standards all up a flaring. Understandably so. Don't lewd minor coded characters. And who do you want to read what his definition of minor coded characters, or should I, Scully?
I'll read it out.
Okay.
Okay. A minor coded character is a character who is considered an adult, in scare quotes, but exhibits so many childlike traits that it doesn't matter if they're an adult or not, since they're coded by the writer to be a child, and thus promotes pedophilia and child porn. Typical traits of a minor coded character include childlike appearance, the 1,000-year-old dragon excuse, if you will. Childlike hobbies, if they play toys or exhibits. Okay, I need to correct this. If they play with toys or exhibit some more childlike traits, this is a red flag if they are minor coded or not. Okay, that first one, okay, yeah, if a character is a fucking 1,000 years old but looks 7, don't read them.
And
that's understandable.
And here's the thing, though. My friend Vi, she is coming up on her mid-30s, and she is short, as in like 5 foot tall short, and she still gets mistaken for being, close to a teenager, like actual proper teenager. I know good and well that she is definitely a woman in her 30s, and there's everything to back it up too. That does not make her child-coded. It just means people see her younger as she really is. I mean, she's aged really goddamn well.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah.
Well, that's just gonna pay dividends when she gets up there in like her 50s and 60s.
Oh hell yeah. But yeah. Oh yeah. There was like one other thing on this one too.
Oh boy, this is a fucking Arctic take right here. Their height. If any girl under 5'7" is basically a red flag for being minor coded, since that's around the common height for children. This applies to canon.
I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
Sorry.
This applies to canon characters and OCs. Okay, so I mean, I have issues with the term minor coded to begin with because, alright, you want to know what coding is? Okay, so coding refers to queer coding. So there was a time where you could not show any character who was explicitly gay or trans on television or in movies. So what some writers would do would be to, like, drop hints. Like, have them have, stereotypically gay mannerisms or whatever. So it's, like, implied that they're gay, so, like, like a sassy gay villain, or, like, some villain who's, like, really sassy or effeminate. That's the kind of typical thing. Well, okay. I mean, they also, I think, I don't know, I mean, they could also do that for race, too, like, if they wanted to portray an interracial relationship back when that thing was, like, taboo, I mean, so I don't know, they have, like, fantasy races that, had allegories to, like, black people. Anyway, there was never a time when you could not show a minor on television or movies, so the whole coding thing is complete bullshit. I mean, it's a bullshit term.
Yeah. And the height, 5'7", really?
That isn't even the average height for a woman in the U.S.
It's half average.
Yeah. The average height is like 5'5" or 5'6".
Yeah.
And I mean, even if I know someone who's 4'11". She's a grown ass woman. Okay, I mean, she can make her own damn decisions.
Yeah.
And it's pretty damn insulting and infantilizing to say that a woman is literally a kid just because she's under a certain height. Oh, and the other thing that the other group that gets thrown under the bus as child coded is people who are autistic or otherwise neurodivergent. Yeah, that's just insulting.
Yeah, just fuck me. So I'm trying to go down further on this list because there's supposed to be more. Because I know there's more because I've seen more, and it definitely came back at me.
Yeah, I'm going through the.
I'm just checking something because, there we go. Because saying about height being a coding, which it isn't. But let me just, because my calculator's weird. Okay. Even though England tends to work in metric, there are some things that I just don't understand in metric. So 1 second whilst I convert. And put that into there. Yes. So Gillian Anderson, who is still considered by many to be a bit of a sex bomb, didn't really ever do it for me, but she is a very pretty lady. 5'2".
Damn.
Yeah.
And I know she probably sometimes looks shorter because the company's like 6 foot something. So that probably didn't help her look. According to this, he's 1.8 4 meters. So don't be stupid. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, technical issues.
It's okay.
Indeed.
But yeah, to go with the idea of the whole height thing and all that too, I should note that 3 women that I am some varying degrees of intimate with, including my own girlfriend, are under 5'7". In fact, they are 5'3" and under.
Yep.
And I know
these 6 foot.
Yeah, and all 3 of those women are in their 30s.
Yeah.
So short women do exist.
Yes.
Just
Most of them are.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Now I've got like more of the list in front of me, because when I first clicked on the thing, it stopped at 4, and it's like, no, there are more than that. There are more. There is more. There is a lot more in that. And again, I want to reiterate: we know the truth behind this asshole. We just have thoughts.
Yeah, basically, fuck the house code.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Yes. Yeah, I'll read a couple of these because I got them in front of me as well. Advice number 5 is: gruesome violence is a huge no-no in roleplay. Depends on the kind of roleplay you're doing, my man. Because, yeah, huge violence and gruesome violence in a text format that everybody agrees to. Like, if you're roleplaying like some sort of Freddy Krueger type scenario or something, you're going to have gruesome violence. Or you should. That's part of the experience. I mean, I never even watched a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like, I've seen like clips and scenes from it, but but I know enough to know that that's gory as shit. It's kind of supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 6 is: tone down your content if you roleplay a villain. If you're clearly marked as a roleplay account, then it should not be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are here as a form of escapes, and roleplaying a villain is enough to trigger anxiety attacks onto people. That's why we have the warnings, you asshole! That's why we have warnings, and we have the signs to say, oh, hey, yeah, this is a roleplay account. This is not the real person. This is this is me playing as Bugfuck the Nazi Fillator. I don't know. It's just, wow. It just, and some of these do have like extended bits into them, but I'm not going to go into too many of them. There are some that I will, but not all of them, because we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do not use the hashtag LewdRP tag on your account if you have to do lewd.
What?
What if that's what you do? Because lewd is the thing. It's literally lewd. And he suggested not safe for work RP instead. It's like, they're like, what?
Not safe for work could be like really graphic violence.
Yeah. So they want to focus on the fact that it's a more sexual not safe for work as opposed to just generalized. So yeah, that's where lewd comes in. And his justification for it, oh god, it attracts a crowd of pedophiles, child molesters, and alt-right turds at someone. That's the internet in general, you asshole.
Yep.
It's for porn.
Yeah. Don't use racism in roleplay under any circumstances. Again, this is one of those that depends. If you are roleplaying like antebellum Alabama, then racism is already baked in. You can't escape that. Now, if it's like a D&D session or what have you, that also depends. But the justification is writers here experience IRL racism and it hurt them. And I'm willing to bet that writers who do experience that IRL racism understand that it's actual racism, and they're not as easily. I don't want to use it like this, but it'll get the point across. They're not as easily triggered as you're making them out to be. I'm willing to bet. Some are. Let's be fair. Some are. but I'm willing to bet more of them aren't that are. And if they don't like it enough, they could just say, nope, we're going to block that. You know?
Yeah.
There has to be a point where you curate your own timeline. You know? Oh, fuck this one. A sex-positive character is not good writing. Fuck you. Fuck
Oh, look,
you
it's
hard.
Oh, look, it's a fucking ace supremacist. Making the rest of the ace people, making the rest of the ace community look bad.
Just... Humans being sex-obsessed is a myth and poor writing. No, it's not. As a general rule, most of us probably aren't. We are mostly sexual. There are asexuals in there, yes. But for the most part, we want to fuck. What degree that is depends on the individual. I myself is higher than average, whereas someone else is going to be lower than average.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, it just depends on the person. You know, human beings are not a monolith. We had that discussion in the last section. Advice number 10: RPing as Nazis is a huge no-no. I wouldn't do it if it's one thing. And he calls out specifically the Marvel RP with Red Skull or Helsing RP with Millennium. It's like, it's no difference than doing real life Nazi rhetoric. You realize what role playing is. You realize that these, you know, because Red Skull's been in a movie, you know, and we've seen Red Skull in movies. Obvious Nazi, obvious bad guy. Do you think the actor playing Red Skull is a Nazi?
I hope not, because I'll be very disappointed otherwise.
I would be too. So, yeah, just because you're playing it as a role, whether it's one you're getting paid a shit ton of money for, or it's just a thing among your friends, as long as everybody understands that, yeah, this is not me, this is a character I am playing, then we're cool. We need to remember this. Lordy B. Scully, do you have the whole big list up, or?
Yep, I've got it.
Okay, do you want to start with take on number 11?
Alright. Okay. Certain roleplay verses shouldn't have a lewd verse purely by how many minors act... What? Oh, I don't know what the fuck that means. That their grammar is out of whack. If the minors who roleplay there are more than 50%, don't make a lewd account there. I'm looking at you, Genshin Impact verse. Okay, here's what you can do for that. Like, I mean, I don't know, this is specifically about Twitter roleplay, but, you know, on a site that is more geared toward roleplaying, like Dreamwidth, what you do is you mark the RP as 18 plus only, and keep it really strict who you let in. Problem solved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. Number 12, do not RP as another race if you are not them. Sorry people who love to RP as CJ or Franklin, unless you're black you shouldn't RP as them. It's disrespectful. Same with people who RP as Native American characters or Latino. Unless you're one of them, don't do it. I mean, if they write the character well enough, and they're not being disrespectful or racist, they should be allowed to do what they want. And I'll bet you this person isn't being like, oh yeah, black people should only play black characters, or Latino people should only play Latino characters, or Asians should only play Asian characters. I'll bet, I mean, I get why, but no, this isn't a good take.
No, it's just if it's like, when you have a pool of actors, I'm gonna take this back up to the movies and Hollywood and everything. Yeah, if you have a single, you know, if you have a movie, the odds are you're gonna have a wide pool of actors out there of all races. So, and nationalities and genders and all of that good shit. So, you know, your big Hollywood movie studios, you don't have an excuse. If you're gonna have you're gonna have a Chinese character, have them be a Chinese person. Same with, you know, whatever. But if we're talking like small group RP, like say if the three of us were to do like a quick RP session right now, you know, like Scully just said, if you're handling it properly and you're not being a racist about it, then yeah, have at it, Haas. Like,
yep.
Seriously,
Yeah.
just oh god. Number 13. Do not do or mention rape at all in RP. Most people won't. And yeah, there are some people that oh god, there was that one chick who posted like a photo set of her being, you know, in kind of a kidnap and rape play positions. And it's like, my biggest problem with it is not that she was acting out an obvious fantasy, but the fact that she didn't tag the shit.
Yeah,
Most people who most people who would do this kind of shit will tag it. All right, especially if it's in an RP setting. You know, if you're a criminal in the making if you write it, motherfucker, piss off.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten in trouble. I got in trouble in high school because I wrote basically what a cast of smut fic about a classmate of mine, and initially she was like, yeah, whatever. You know, she didn't care enough until one of our teachers said, oh, you know, that's how Ted Bundy got started. Scared the shit out of her, and I got in trouble for it. And for a while I blamed her because I didn't know better. But once I found out, I quickly turned against that particular teacher. I'm like, oh, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. And fuck anybody who thinks that because you're writing something out means you're going to try and do it. Odds are no.
Yeah.
You know, are there people like that? Probably. Sure. But I don't think it's as widespread as you think it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it is.
Yeah. See, it's okay if you don't want to be serious or story driven. See, that's a decent one.
Yeah.
That's a decent one. It's like, yeah, it is okay. You don't have to be serious or story driven. It's okay to turn a straight character gay, but not the other way around. My personal advice would be just don't mess with it. Leave the canon as is, but then again, but because of a lot of the other bullshit that he's pulled out up to this point, just no. Just you know, you're the dude is kind of, I guess the best way of putting it is, the dude is kind of poisoning his own well with the bad takes that are in with the sprinkles of the good ones, or even halfway decent ones. You know, it's like you could put sugar on a lump of shit, but it's still going to be shit. So it's like, yeah. And I get and I do understand. Don't want to turn somebody who is, you know, who is gay, who is bi, who is anything that is not already heterosexual into heterosexual. I would think, and this is my own personal thought, the only exception I would see is if it is a person who is like say somebody who is bi takes a character who is bi and turns them straight. That would be more acceptable to me.
Yeah.
Probably. I could be wrong, and I might be. Let's see. I'm just going to skip down a few because there is at least one or two that I really want to get to before we run out of time. Let's see. There's one. Do not roleplay as abusers at all, even if it is canon. And one of the things is Homer Simpson, which, okay, yeah, I can see that, but it's like the abuse is downplayed to everything else from what I remember of The Simpsons. But granted, I haven't sat down and watched The Simpsons a lot lately, but yeah, I mean, and again, if this is all through text RPs, these are adults, or at the very least, people who understand that this is not reality. And if you're if you're traumatic, and if you're legit triggered by things like this, then yeah, you know, let people know they can, you can curate your own timeline. That's valid, but also at the very same time, tag your shit so people can curate their timelines. Let's see. Always source your art. No fucking shit. Happy role plays are better than angst or drama. Matter of opinion. Seductive Sunday is a cheap tactic for views and followers. Really? I feel like this whole thread is a cheap tactic for views and followers. Oh, wait! There is... Oh, wait. There shouldn't be a lewd Pokemon verse. Fuck you. Fuck you. Give me my lewd fan art of Cynthia. Alright? Give me that. Give me my lewd fan art of Melanie from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Give me my lewd fan art of the two of them making out. What can I say? It's two kinds of women that I like. Let's see. There is. Oh, this one. Okay. This is the big one. This is down at number 30. This is the big one that got my attention. It got my danders up in particular. Advice number 30. Multi-shipping is cheating. Just like the idea of polyamory or polygamy, it's basically cheating even if people approve of it. It basically shows how subconsciously you don't give a shit about the other writers and would hurt them in other ways. It is cheating. Fuck you hard, buddy. I don't care if you're just trying to be a troll with way too much straw. Fuck you. Fuck you. And fuck anybody who honestly believes the things in this tweet. Fuck you. Because guess what? Over 7 years in a happy and healthy polyamorous relationship. And guess what? I overshare a lot, so this is not going to be anything new. But you know what? In those 7 years, I have had, I have been intimate with other people. Hell, just earlier in the show, at least three people that I have been some form of intimate with. The actual number is like 4 or 5. 2 of them I have had sex with. 1 of them is my girlfriend. And when I had sex with the other woman that I've had sex with in the past 7 years, you know what happened when I told my girlfriend about that? She sent me heart emojis because she was happy for me. Because she knew I was going to have fun. I was going to have a good time. It was going to be great. And she knew, in this particular instance, this was a woman I have honestly wanted to have sex with for well over a decade. And I finally was able to do so. So girlfriend was happy, woman I had sex with was happy, and while she wasn't completely satisfied, that was less me and more of her own libido, if I remember right. And if it was me, then yeah, hey, I'll eat my words. But the point is, we are all happy in this thing together. Becky and I are happy.
My brain just went to place.
that happens sometimes. And you know what? Shoe being on the other foot, if it happened to Becky and she hooked up with someone and was like, hey, I'm gonna hook up with this person here, I'll be like, awesome, get it, tell me about it later, I am curious. But that's the kind of relationship we have. We do give a shit about each other, and guess what? If you're doing this in like an RP setting, most of the time, people are probably going to talk this shit out of character. You know what I mean?
Yep. And okay, multi-shipping. That means like, I ship these 2 characters, but I also ship this character with this character or this character because, I think their relationship dynamic would be interesting. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of the RPG stuff, but I can think of a couple of shows and series, just in general, where I have thought, this couple will work well, this couple will work well. I mean, to use a popular example, I am a huge Unapologetic Friends fan. I am a huge Monla lover. I love that relationship. I think, fuck the Ross and Rachel thing, Monica and Chandler all the way, because they fucking stay to the end. They worked to the relation, everything. Even being a huge fan of that relationship, I still root for Chandler and Kathy when their relationship's on screen when I'm rewatching it.
Yeah.
Because I think they were kind of adorable as well. As one example. So yeah, I mean, in that case, those relationships were both canon within the series. But yeah, your head will put people together. Like, well, these people are cute together. Oh, but wait, these people are cute together.
Yeah. Logical conclusion, put them all together as one. Hell, I see people do that in the Danganronpa fandom with Hajime, Nagito, and Chiaki, who is best girl. So it's like, yeah.
Sorry.
So just,
I have an Undertale poly ship myself, but
yeah,
it's a little bit controversial, but because some people really don't like it when you ship Undyne with a man. I get it, but you know, I ship Undyne, Papyrus, and Alphys together. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not cheating. Or I mean, the whole multi-shipping is cheating thing is ridiculous to begin with. But like, okay, there's a difference between polyamory and cheating, and it's consent is what matters. And you know what? This writer does not seem to care about consent. Nor do they seem to care about separating fiction and reality.
Yeah. There's a few more we can touch on, and then we'll probably start wrapping it up. But incest ships are just as bad as pedophilia. This includes adoption. I don't think they're as bad as pedophilia. I find them icky, but they're not as bad as pedophilia. In fact, pedophilia, I think, is the worst option. You know, is because it's like, yeah, that's literal child there, dude. You know,
there's also the thing of
also incest ships is how we have the royal family.
I was going to say, I think it was an old Oprah or Sally Jesse or one of those types of programs back in the day, where there was this couple that turned out to be brother and sister who had been separated. Their family, you know, their family dynamic was that these children had been separated, but they found each other. And isn't it like a genetic thing where there's a genetic attraction thing? If you're not raised with your sibling, you'll develop an attraction. There's an actual science behind it. And they in this interview, they were saying, yeah, we get it. We have siblings that we grew up with that we, you know, wouldn't do the things with, but we didn't grow up together.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not praising, I'm not like condoning incest necessarily, but sometimes there's context.
Yeah. And I will say this, and I say this a lot about certain things. When it comes to incest itself, it's ew, yes, but if you're two consenting adults doing it, and there's not a bad power dynamic or what have you, I don't care. I will side-eye you, I will think ew, and I will move on. And I will ew in private. I will not ew you publicly. Meanwhile, Becky and I will be over there like, oh my god, ew. Because, you know, okay, we're not going to have that tone, but still. Just,
Sorry, my brain went to a weird furry place. It's like, you're going ew, and all the furries going ew.
Yeah. Let's see. Other ones include, don't lewd yourself, original characters. Fuck you, I will lewd myself however the fuck I want.
Yep.
Let's see. Talk beforehand with your fellow writer if you want to do a fight RP. I mean, makes sense. Again, it's the sugar on top of the shit. Don't ship kids at all, even with other kids. A lot of South Park fanfic writers probably hate this one.
That tweet said it's inherently sexual. No, shipping is not inherently sexual, and you know what? Kids get crushes.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't anything sexual to it when I had a crush as a kid. Like when I had crushes as a kid, there was not anything sexual to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just no crushes. Kids are humans too.
Again, recently started watching Avatar, and one of the first things that Aang does when he wakes up is develop a little crush on Sokka because he's 12 and she's the first person he's seen in, well, he doesn't know at the time, 100 years. It's like, it's cute. You know,
Yeah.
Aang's adorable.
Yeah.
So yeah, kids have little crushes. They do the thing, and they don't understand the sex. Not at that. Hopefully not at that age. I mean, yeah. Again, these. I don't know how old the siblings are supposed to be, so that's a thing I'm not aware of. But you know, there's like kids crush.
Yeah.
That's it happens. And yeah, of course, nobody wants to see the little kids being sexualized. Of course not. But it's okay for them to like each other.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one further down. Even if you're a lewd account, don't post pornographic images at all. It's against Twitter's TOS, and it's a chance that minor might stumble across your pornographic images. Well, guess what? We have ways to make sure people who do this kind of shit typically will label it. So if a minor stumbles across your porn, that means they probably most likely saw your shit, stumbled across it anyways, and said, "Oh, that's what that looks like." And thus they got a little bit of sex education courtesy of you. You did your due diligence, the rest is on the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's not getting into terms of service stuff, but because that's a whole different thing. Oh.
I mean, I've seen grown-up accounts. I'm not sure what that's about because I've seen them and they're locked and stuff, and people have mentioned it. But I mean, you guys post stuff from Twitter all the time that's kind of, you know, boobly.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I have an account for following not safe for work stuff. You can post not safe for work things if you like mark it as such.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just got to be marked. Because we do actually give a shit about the kids. And, you know, yeah, we you know, if kids stumble upon it, it will not be because we were not diligent. It'll be because they were either really stubborn or their parents don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's say if I found out a minor was following my not safe for work account, I would block them from that account.
Exactly. As you should.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one. Oh, advice. And number 69.
Nice.
Thank you. If you're a parent, you probably shouldn't roleplay.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah. Again, fuck you. It's like, no, parents need their time off. They cannot spend 24/7, 365 or 366, you know, taking care of a child. They have to have rest too, otherwise they can't take care of a child if they're out of commission.
Yep.
They have to have some rest.
It sounds exactly like, you know, another take from a different person that I saw. And this person was being serious, by the way. They said that, oh, if you're 25 or older, you shouldn't be in fandom. Don't you have taxes to do?
Yeah.
No, I'm British.
Ah, there you go. Oh. Let's see. Pornographic and lewd headcanons are never good. Bullshit, fuck you. You know what? Here. Pornographic headcanon just to piss you off. Melanie from Galler and Cynthia from Sinnoh secretly meet up once or twice a month just to get it on.
Yeah.
And Melanie's husband is way okay with that.
There was I can't remember who posted it, but someone showed a clip from Carmen San Diego where she's calling the office, and the mail officer, I can't remember all the names now, but the mail office picks up and they're like, "Why are you answering my phone? Why are you calling it?" And the headcanon underneath is like, and this is the point, they both thought the other one was having an affair with Jiggly. It's like, yeah.
But yeah.
And if you haven't seen Netflix Carmen San Diego, it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'm trying to get to the very, very bottom here. You are either lewd or not lewd. Buzz off with being open to both. Motherfucker, people are complicated. And we can tag individual posts. We can say, hey, this is kind of lewd. This one is not lewd. Like, hi.
Okay, so have you never been in a horny mood one day and completely aced the next? I'm not trying to... Sorry. Let me rephrase that, because I know ace is a whole thing.
Yeah.
But you're not always horny, generally speaking, all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're running hot, but sometimes you're running
Yeah. I mean, hell, even me. I'm the horniest person on this podcast. Even I'm not horny 24/7. I mean, hell, I was definitely not horny when I was ranting and raving earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly horny right now.
Me
but,
neither.
Yeah. So
kind of reassured by that, guys.
But the point is, even the horniest person you know, which for a lot of my friends, that's me, is not horny all the time. And so, if you RP a character who is also not horny all the time, that's fine. And your timeline, should you choose to do so, can be both. And this goes for RP and otherwise. You know, because people are complicated. I keep going back to something that one phrase Holly Christina said a long time ago. People are complicated.
Yep.
Oh. But with that, do you have any closing thoughts on this dude?
Man, people need to learn to separate fiction and reality. Jeez.
Yeah, I strongly agree.
I haven't played a game yet, but I've been a long time supporter of a RPG called Magical Land of Yeld, where it's the guy who creates it. Also has a web called Modest Medusa. It's really cute. I think I mentioned it before, a Monster Girl comic. And he has recently released an update because it's a very active thing at the moment. He regularly releases updates. I haven't downloaded the PDF yet, but because of my Patreon level, I'm going to get a physical copy anyway. And it is called Soul Eater. Now, the entire premise of Yeld is that you are a bunch of kids, and it's designed to be a family-friendly game that you can play with children that you think are age appropriate. I think they suggest a mature 8-year-old upwards. You know, obviously, use your own judgment.
Yeah.
The Soul Eater is basically the assassins of the Yeld fantasy world. The basic premise is you find a magical door, and then in order to get back through it, you need to find 7 keys, and that's your starting point. And then obviously go off on these various different adventures and meet all these different characters and creatures. So yeah, it's your baby's first questing game, baby's first RPG.
Yeah.
But yeah, even then he's saying, look, this even says in the thing, this is probably our bloodiest one yet. And is like the Soul Thief has got, like, they have a dagger. There is a few bits of blood in the picture. And yeah, it is a job that is designed to be played by younger characters, like, because all the heroes, all the friends, up until a certain point in the lore, are children. Like, if you stay longer than, you know, a certain point in your childhood, you start actually mutating and becoming part of the land, at which point you can't return home.
Yeah.
So you mature past a certain age and it's pretty much game over. So yeah, he has, in this family-friendly fantasy realm, has introduced a job, a task, an expansion that is essentially murder. But obviously, because it is a fantasy game and this is a supplement, you don't have to play that supplement.
Yeah.
But even family-friendly content can have mature themes.
Yeah. Family-friendly content can have things like
a body has been discovered.
Things like that.
Oh. Stop! He's dead! He's already dead!
Yeah, basically. So okay. So I do want to reiterate, because I mentioned it a couple of times while we were going through the thread and before we even started it. We do realize that Washire RP tips this asshole. We realize that he is very much likely just a 4chan troll with too much straw in his hands. We do realize this. But again, sometimes something like this can bring about a decent conversation, or at the very least, conversation starters. And it can even prick your brain into maybe thinking about things in a different way, or at the very least reaffirming your own thoughts on certain things.
Yeah.
So so you can get something good even out of something as negative and obviously baity as this. And yeah, obviously we took the bait. Obviously. But that's okay. That's what we do sometimes. Yeah. It's called content. No. But speaking of content, before we get out of here, I do want to mention that I have a TikTok video that has finally hit like four digits. And it is a response to a guy who one of these Jesus pushers that you see on TikTok is like are you playing with God type thing. And my TikTok I tend to use more for like Danganronpa memes more than anything. And I did two Danganronpa memes based on this guy. And I wouldn't have found this guy if my friend Lizzie hadn't responded to him. But I did one for Monokuma, and I did one for a character named Teru. Take my sex drive and extrapolate that out exponentially, and you have Teru. Except I don't know how to cook very well.
Yeah.
Because Teru is basically the ultimate chef. So, and he is super perverted and has very, very... He does not do well with boundaries in universe. To the point,
No.
To the point where Best Girl actually uppercutted him when he was almost to rape somebody.
Good.
Yeah.
He learned his lesson, thankfully. But he's still a major perv. To the point to where even I'm like, no. But he was useful for this one, and I could do as well as kind of well. So I took the idea of him the original guy, the Jesus pusher, was like, are you playing with God? Well, I played with him last night, and I tell you, he was a good big fan of my special spicy pork sausage, especially the creamy gravy surprise that came later. That sort of thing. And then the original video went on a little bit more. It's like are you in Jesus, that type of thing. And of course, I had to run with that. I am in him right now. Oh, careful there, JJ. We know you're not a fan of my special gravy, so be mindful when you're gobbling down my special spicy pork sausage, all right? Like, and I think my Teru sounds more effeminate and stereotypical, that I want it to. I'm still working on the voice, but I get it works enough. It's got a bunch of engagement, so it worked well enough. But yeah. I huh?
I don't play Danganronpa, and it made me laugh well enough.
There you go. But yeah, it's like tone down. If they had toned down Teru's proclivities a bit, he might be a little bit more likable as a character.
Yeah.
But as a way to troll Jesus pushers, he's awesome.
He is.
Then again, any character could also be used for it. So I would have done one as Best Girl, but I can't pitch my voice that high, even with the voice changer. Like even with my voice changer, the best I can do is this right here. That's the best I can do.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to gush on that a little bit. And so yeah, speaking Oh. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here for this time. Michelle, if we wanted to find you on social media, where could we find you?
You can find me at my link tree, which is linktr.ee/Phoenix11, PHEONIX11. And you can also find me at the Bun Squad, Zenith Warrior Princess, although she's still having issues with her computer, so there hasn't been an update for a while. But hey, if you haven't seen the storyline video yet, then now's your chance.
There you go. Scully, how about you?
Sorry, you can also find me on Phil, and I can never remember how to pronounce his name, but I will give going with a link. We're doing Facing Forward, which is basically everything MCU from WandaVision forward. There are spoilers if you haven't seen WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier and everything going forward, then approach with caution. But I'm also doing that now and again. I'm doing it mostly at the moment, and then I'll be coming in and out as appropriate.
Sweet. All right. And now, Scully, where can we find you on the internet?
Skulls.
You can find me on Linktree, linktr.ee/Scolipendra.
Oh, and as for me, all of my links, that goes for YouTube, Patreon, fucking Tumblr, Twitter, all that good shit. linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. And yes, that should include my TikTok. If it doesn't, I'll make sure it is in there. But yeah. I found another Jesus pusher. Not necessarily Jesus pusher. He's one of those assholes who was like, "There's only 2 genders." Oh, I just need to figure out which character I want to use. Because I will say this about Danganronpa, I don't think there is a genuine transphobe among the cast, and that includes Monokuma. Monokuma, and he's the goddamn murder bear. Even the goddamn murder bear says trans rights. I cannot do a Monokuma voice at the moment. I'd have to prep for it.
I probably could.
Yeah.
It's kind of Ismaru, isn't he? He's like, trans rights! Something like that, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
I've mostly heard Ethan's version of it, so I've not heard it properly myself.
Yeah, I hear Rosen's version a lot. This is more closer to the Danganronpa anime than the game. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it's just where his voice lies, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that, thank you once again for listening. We will catch you next time. Hopefully, it will not take as long as it did this time, and all that good shit. So yeah, thanks for listening, and until next time, this is Gomer, the ranting thespian, with Michelle and Scolipendra, signing off.
Later.
Bye-bye.